Hello everyone, welcome to the course ES565 Intelligent Systems and Interfaces. Due to unavoidable circumstances, so we have to make certain change in the plan. Now, Dr. Amit Avekar is the course instructor. However, initial few lectures will be taken by me. This lecture briefly summarizes what is the course content and a few administrative things. So this course is primarily focused to introduce fundamentals of natural language processing. So initial few lectures will try to focus more on what are the different levels of NLP, why it is hard, how you can get started, what is the corpus, what kind of a pre-processings essentially required for almost all of the NLP the task. If you are starting from scratch, if you don't have, let's say that the pre-processed corpus or the data available to you, the language models, which is part of almost all of the NLP tasks, directly or indirectly, and the vector space models, again, that is almost present in all of the NLP applications and the tasks, sequence tagging and parsing. So these are like the very fundamentals and specific NLP tasks, and these are the kind of, you can say that these are the building blocks to do any kind of NLP processing. Uh, and behind each of these NLP tasks, what kind of statistical learning models were earlier used to solve them and to obtain automatic models to process the new data sets. So some of these models are still very relevant, even though some of you are aware that now primarily the all NLP applications is driven by neural models. But even in some of those models, you will see that some of the principles or some of these statistical learning models are used. And then we will also, in the third component of the course, you will see that the neural models, we are going to discuss the neural models, specifically the different word embedding models, the neural language models, and a few applications. Let's begin to talk about this course by first seeing in our daily life, routine life, that what are the different applications which are we are actually the applications we are using, and where the NLP is in the background. And some of the things, whenever you face any difficulty, the first thing we do is that we go to the Google to search for. And as soon as you start typing things, you will see that Google is already suggesting you uh, the next words, or even the phrases. And if you are perhaps observing this in next, let's say that last 5 years, you see that this has sort of an improved tremendously. Again, we will see that what kind of models are there, which is sort of contributing to this kind of a prediction. And this we don't only see in the when you are typing your search queries. You see while typing your message on the WhatsApp, now even in your SMS apps on your phone, that also have this kind of next word or the next phrase predictions available to. One another very common example which we see is of the machine translation. Whenever you go to the Facebook post, you see that there's the option of the automatic machine translations. When you put your questions, Google also says, or other search engines also says that if you want to translate this into Hindi or perhaps even into some regional languages. So again, in the background, what it is there is basically the NLP. The short email response suggested in email clients, for example, Outlook or Gmail. So again, you have seen that when you receive a mail, they try to suggest very few words response. So again, this is an example of, you can see that anything in the background has to first understand that what the email says, and after that it has to generate a text. So we are going to see that this is a sort of interplay of, in one hand, that it has to understand the language, and on the other hand it has to sort of generate the appropriate response. So in the last example of machine translation, as well as the short email response, or automatic email response, both of them are, as we will be discussing later on, that these are the kind of an example where the two components of natural language processing, one is the natural language understanding, NLU, and natural language generation, NLG. So those are playing in sync. Now, this is kind of one of the reasons that I have started working in NLP, and that is why I took this as an example to illustrate some of the basic steps you would require while doing NLP. So this is just a snapshot of discharge summary, and you know if I want machine to, or computers to, automatically extract the disease names, medicine and doses, what are the different diagnostic tests were conducted, and what kind of symptoms were observed in a particular patient. uh, so doing all of this, first of all, what actually you would require? First of all, the machine needs to understand that what is the sentence, where are the the one sentence ends and where the second sentence begins, what are the words, what is the meaning of the word. Then so that those are the kind of a call is the the text segmentations, where you first try to break them into sentences, and then you further want to break into the words, which is also called the tokenization. And then once you have done that, then now here what we are going to do is that we need to identify the different type of the entities. And in this particular examples, we are interested in to identify four different type of the entities, which is the disease mentioned, which is the medicine and doses, and so on. So, and as you can see, that some of the names which are appearing here are not the very direct name, so, and does not come in any kind of a dictionary. So it has to really understand or identify from looking at the the context. It has to understand that what appropriate, the first of all understand that what are those entities, and then what is this particular type. Now, one can ask that, why you actually want to do that. You can imagine that if you have hundreds and thousands of such kind of data, you can extract out those informations. I mean, definitely, when this kind of a discharge summaries or clinical notes are generated and written by the doctors and experts, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of knowledge, which may not be, let's say, that the directly can be sort of extracted or can be sort of understood. So what we have to sort of identify, or the understand that what are the different hidden patterns which are there. uh, and to do that, we cannot really do manually to really go through those the large amount of the text. So if I convert them into some sort of a graph, for example, in here you see that we have only taken a certain type of the entities and what kind of relations can exist among those entity types, and then you can sort of mine several of such these graphs, and then can find out the hidden knowledge or the hidden informations which are there. For example, you can look into the disease, and what kind of once you have this particular disease, whether this can be a risk factor for another disease, whether this particular disease co-occurs with another disease, or what kind of the diagnosis is there, for this particular disease, what diagnostic test actually really able to identify that, and which one was not able to identify that, and so on, and what kind of a medicine was actually treats that disease, and what kind of medicine actually complicates if there are perhaps some more comorbidities, or there are more than one disease are there. So you can identify all, you can look into from the different angles, and then try to identify the such kind of relations. And this is an example coming from a very general domain. So this is a sort of an example coming from a general domain, taken from a Wikipedia text. So this is an unstructured text which you see here, and again, mining any kind of such informations, or automatic querying from this kind of a text is going to be little difficult, or let's say that it's not very straightforward. On the other hand, if this unstructured text is converted into this particular structured graph, and then it becomes very easy to extract, or let's say that find out different type of relevant informations quickly. Not only that, you can, if you have, as I was discussing for the previous examples, if there are like a lot of such graphs are combined together, and then again you can find some sort of relations which are earlier not mentioned in any of these unstructured text. So you can find the new relations, and so on. So there's a lot of, let's say, that application you can think of for converting these unstructured text into the structured graph. So these examples I'm showing you to just to sort of motivate you that you know that while we are doing the NLP, it's not only that we just want to process these texts and identify a few entities, but we also want to sort of see there's a lot of applications, wide applications are possible in different domains. Again, there will be many more examples. Like if you have a lot of papers, a lot of articles, news articles, you want to summarize those newses. There's a lot of there are automatic question answering systems, paraphrase detection, sentiment analysis. There are a lot of reviews there. So whether there are positive sentiments or negative sentiments or neutral, or people are showing anger, or a lot of this kind of analysis are already being done, and in different type of, let's say, that the text people do conversational agents, or let's say the chatbots, which is sort of uh, kind of a very hot topic these days. Everywhere you go, any website you go, immediately you see they are popping up with the conversational agents or the chatbots, and trying to sort of answer your queries or want to interact with you. So these are some of the examples which we see in our daily life. Some of the examples are not so straightforward, or not so, let's say, very common. You directly see it. For example, mining with these mm, uh, unstructured text, identifying the hidden relations and all. But search engines like Google, Bing, they do a lot of these processing in the back end, in the background. And examples like sort email response, next word predictions, question answering systems. So these are the examples which you actually see in many forms. So we have already discussed that what is at a very high level, that what is this course is going to contain. Uh, and also we have seen some examples which are, we see in our daily life, uh, and some more applications which is a little bit advanced, which we may not see as a regular activities, or let's say that as a regular applications, but they are actually in the background of uh, in many advanced level of applications. Now let's talk about a little bit of the administrative stuff, so that we all understand that how we are going to manage this course, where you will find the lectures and the videos, how you can post your queries, and etc. So, Again, to mention that due to certain situations now, there's a change in the plan, and Dr. Amita Baker will be the coordinating instructor. Uh, we will also invite some industry experts, maybe once the course goes at the level where everybody, all the students are at the understanding the background and understanding the fundamentals of the NLP, so that we can talk about more on the application sides, and then we can invite one or two industry experts to talk about some of the applications in the industry. And initial few lectures, as I mentioned earlier, also that I will be taking. Maybe I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Maybe for entire of this month of September, I will be taking lectures, or if it is possible, Dr. Amita Baker may start earlier in September also. But we will see how it goes. Uh, so first of all, we have four TAs who is going to sort of coordinate specifically regarding the assignments, maybe even giving some hands-on sessions on some tools related to this course. Um so their email IDs are mentioned here. Their names are there. Aparajita Datta, senior PhD student, Akanksha Mishra, Gauri Shankar Mazumdar, and Krishna Vandan Pate. These are the four TAs for the course. Uh, so, as we all know that this is a sort of a difficult time. Situation is, we don't know how the things are going to plan out. So this whole thing is going in online mode. So you know this is not a normal situation, and so instead of having a very regular slot of the lectures like on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at particular time, uh, we are going to held the lectures, or the post our lectures as a video on a YouTube, and you know and you are actually watching this video on the YouTube channel, so you already have the link. So primarily, all the lectures will be held in asynchronous manner. Uh, but however, to keep interest alive, and we don't get feel bit too bored with the course, looking at these videos only. So we will have few interaction sessions as well, and that interaction sessions will be held in one of the slots, and those scheduled slots will also be used for exams. I will come to that point later on. So just make sure that you do not schedule anything in the regular lecture slots. Uh, Keep it free, just to thinking that there could be some exam, there could be some interaction sessions, there could be some hands-on sessions you know scheduled on those slots. So do not schedule anything in the lecture regular slots. And if you have any questions related to the lectures which is posted on YouTube, you can put your questions on the discussion forum. So we have a separate uh, channel on the Teams group called discussions, and we will prefer. So we have added, and you might have got an invitation from Piazza to manage it more appropriately or more efficiently. So we have added this Piazza app. So please use that app to post your questions. Um, I have already mentioned that the video lectures will be uploaded on YouTube. In fact, you are seeing this video in that particular channel, and everything would be announced on the Teams group. Now, the one of the important part, the evaluation part. Mm, so there would be about three assignments, and each of them will be carrying 10 marks. So in total, there's a 30% weightage to the assignments. Project will carry about 40% weightage, and we are likely to organize about 2 to 3 evaluation rounds. So these are the tentative plans. We will let you know the whole schedule for the projects, that how we are going to conduct the evaluation rounds, so that we will let you know. And exams or the quizzes or any sort of the viva or interactions related to the projects again will be held in a very synchronous manner, and uh, will held in the scheduled class lecture slots. And what we are expecting is that you have the smooth internet connection. If there is any issue related to your internet connections, please let us know now, so we can think of what workaround can be done. But don't tell at the exam time that you have some issues. Okay. Uh, uh, yeah. So one more thing is that any deviations related to the exams or quizzes, if we are not conducting on one of the scheduled lecture slots, again it will be announced on the Teams, and also on what platform and what kind of a portal we are going to take exams. That will be also announced with all the with whenever we mm, announce about the exam. So as I said, the announcement, there would be three regarding the assignment. Sorry. So there will be three assignment, and first assignment is expected by the 15th of September, and you will get about week's time to submit your assignment. Again, this assignment would be the individual submission. You can discuss among yourselves, but do not copycat. Do not copy from each other. If we identify there are copy cases, it will be kind of a severely penalized. So please try to learn, try to enjoy the course. Don't try to sort of take any shortcut. Uh, you can discuss among yourselves, so that if somebody has explored one tool and they have found out this tool is good to use. Yes, you can take that advice. You can discuss among yourselves. You can discuss on the piazza. You can post that, okay, for this assignment you are using this particular tool and you find it very efficient, and this particular tool you do not find very efficient. So that kind of discussions allowed, and if you are doing it live, that's good for all, because you are sharing the information. That is all allowed. But how exactly each of the problems should be solved, it should be perhaps left to the each of the individual to decide how to do that. And writing the report or writing the code, everything should be everybody should do it individually. And you should not copy from each other. And once we catch the copy cases, we will not try to distinguish that which is the source and which from whom you have copied. For us it's the same, and each one of them will be penalized in the same manner. Regarding the projects, it will be a group project. So roughly, we can have a group of 4 students. Let's not make a smaller group, because I think there are a number of about, I think, 100 plus students. So let's not make a small number of groups. The group with a small number of students. So you should have a 4 number of students. So let's keep that, and don't make even the bigger group. Then it becomes very difficult to identify that who has done what. So try to start discussing about that, with whom you are going to make group, and decide, and then submit group details by 15 September. We will tell you how to submit those details. uh, we will also try to post some of the relevant project themes and the sources, so that you can pick that which problem you want to work on, and that will be again posted by 15 to 20th September. And if you start earlier than that, that will fine. Project topic proposal submission deadline would be about the end of this month, and we are going to evaluate. The first round of evaluation would be in between 15th or the 20th of October. So the idea of this midterm evaluation is that we want to see that how much you have progressed and what kind of a difficulty you are having. Again, we will sort of post the videos, that what in what way we are going to evaluate and what is the expectations during each of these evaluations. And again, I will suggest to get started with this course, you may already start to explore few of the tools and then try to pick one of your favorites. Here are I have listed a few examples which are very commonly used. You try to check perhaps each one of them and then see that which one is good. Some of the tools are, for example, very good for very basic uh, tasks like tokenizations, sentence segmentations, word segmentation, or identifying the part of speech tags and entity recognitions. And some of them are very good on the application sides, especially like the entity recognitions, relation classifications, and so on. So, for example, these if you see LNNLP, FLAIR, these are actually more targeted towards the NLP applications. Of course, they have also built the basic the fundamentals. But if you see the NLTK, core NLP, these are very, very commonly used tools for the basic pre-processing of any of the corpus. So again, as I said, that you try to explore each one of them, try to play with some of the data. Some of these tools come with some default corpus, so that you can start playing with them and understand that how it actually works. Uh, Regarding the books, so as such, there is no textbook for this course. However, there will be few reference books. Jurovsky and Martin book, Speech and Language Processing, that is available freely on this particular website. And then we are going to also see that use some for some of the chapters we are going to use this Introduction to Information Retrieval, and again this book is available freely. uh, some of the discussion in this course is also based on this particular book, but this book is perhaps not available freely. But I think, for example, the topic on the co-locations, I'm going to use discussion on this particular book, and that is available freely. Regarding the neural networks, primer, you can look into some of these places. And this Goldberg, a primer on neural network models for NLP, is perhaps a good thing to look at. The dive into deep learning, it again is a very good platform, and it is perhaps going to be useful for you in many other courses. uh, and it's not only focused on the NLP, but there are like components and the chapters which are talking about the NLP. So for this course, those things would be much more relevant. But then you can go and explore these books. Some of the related courses from this, and in fact, my initial lectures are heavily motivated from the Michael Collins lectures, the old lectures. And this is my the favorite part of the course, in the sense that if you have not really worked with NLP earlier, and I don't think this is a good idea to jump directly on the neural models and go for the course like the Stanford course CS224. And of course, it gives you the a very good idea about the neural network models, but then it does not really tell in the background of the NLP. And I think, to really do well, I think you should first focus on the lectures and the topics discussed in the Collins lecture notes. And then that is what actually the first two modules of this particular course is actually focused and work around the lectures of the Collins, and then the later part is only using the neural models. So okay, so that's it for the first class lecture, and we will see you again on Tuesday. I think Tuesday I will again post my first. You can say that the lecture. This is a kind of a background lecture to understand you what is this course is about and the few administrative things, and the first regular lecture will start from the next week. So have a happy learning of NLP, and we are going to. I'm sort of we are hoping that this time we are going to see a very good and exciting projects in this course. Okay, bye.